If you remember in the early 1990s, there was this movie which had come out, The Shawshank Redemption. Andrew Dufresne is a person who plans his escape from the prison. He had a very good knowledge of geology, so he knew which rocks can be
dug through and which can be avoided.
So similarly, Gyan Yoga section gives a thorough understanding of what is this world, what are the walls of this world composed of. Knowledge is understood as something that you read and acquire, but Krishna is explaining the path to knowledge. There are entrance examinations in the modern world. Suppose you have to get into engineering. Suppose you have to get into medical school. You got into engineering, right? Then you got into IIM Ahmedabad, top school. So even for that there was an entrance examination. Basically they see whether you will be able to comprehend the level of knowledge that is going to be taught there. So similarly, when it comes to Vedic understanding, knowledge of Sanskrit is least important.
Like English.
It's not the knowledge in English that will help you understand topics of engineering or topics of medicine. It's your IQ which will help you understand those topics. Language is just a medium. When we actually take the path of the Bhagavad Gita, what happens is, when you develop these qualities, those qualities will remain with you always.
At the end of the day, if the soul has all these characteristics, the material world fogs these qualities. Why does God create the fog in the first place? Pranam Prabhuji.
Pranam.
So, Prabhuji, we are 2/3 of the way through. Yeah, we get on to our last third now. And with the ending of the 12th chapter, we've been through all Krishna's vibhutis, the opulences, yeah, the beauty, and his undoubted, what I call unequivocal statement that at the end of the day, it is only devotion and bhakti which takes you straight to me. So, as we get on to the last third now, Prabhuji, what I call the cricket field, yeah, the field out there with players, with umpires, what is in store, and let's get on to the 13th chapter.
Yeah. So we are entering to the third section of the Bhagavad Gita, as we had discussed earlier. In the Gita, there are 3 sections. The first 6 chapters is technically called Karma Yoga. Second 6 chapters is Bhakti Yoga, and the last 6 chapters are called Gyan Yoga. So, in the first 6 chapters, an understanding is given of how a person who is involved with the activities of this world can progress on the path of spirituality. If you remember, in an earlier session, we had used the analogy of a ladder.
Yes. Depending on your level of development and which part of the ladder you are, that is the path which is made available to you.
Yeah. So the ladder is, understanding of the ladder is given in the first 6 chapters, how you grow on the path. In the middle 6 chapters, what you find on top when you climb the ladder. And so in the middle 6 chapters, we come to know about transcendental subject matters, knowledge about Krishna, knowledge about the soul's connection with God, and all these details are there in the middle 6 chapters. Now, having understood how to progress on the path and having got a glimpse of what lays
at the end
of the path, the last 6 chapters explain what's holding back us from treading this path and reaching the goal. When we are situated within this world, we are bound. We are encaged. The spirit soul, the living entity, is encaged within the body, the mind, the intellect, the ego, the gross body and the subtle body. And in order to progress on the path of liberation, one has to understand how the prison in which we are situated, what it is composed of. If you remember, in the early 1990s, there was this movie which had come out, The Shawshank Redemption. Correct? So, in that, Andrew Dufresne, he is a person who plans his escape from the prison. And to escape from the prison, he had a very good knowledge of geology. So, he knew which rocks can be kind of
dug through and which can be avoided,
which
should be avoided.
Which should be avoided. Because of his understanding of geology, he was able to tunnel through the prison walls and ultimately escape over a period of some decades or something like that. The film portrays that. So, in order to escape, you should understand what is the prison made up of. So similarly, Gyan Yoga section gives a thorough understanding of what is this world, what are the walls of this world composed of. And when we get a thorough understanding of the walls which makes this prison, we will have a concrete action plan of how to get out of this prison also. So the 13th chapter begins with Arjuna asking this question, Prakritim Purusham Chaiva Kshetram Kshetragnyam Evacha Etad Vedetum Ichchami Jnanam Jneyam Cha Keshava. Oh my dear Krishna, I wish to know about Prakriti, Purusha, Kshetra, Kshetragnya, Jnana and Jneya. Okay? So he's asking 6 things.
Sounds like a very loaded question. Practically everything he wants to know.
Yeah. So, Krishna begins by answering the question, what is Kshetra and what is Kshetragnya here? So he says, Idam shariram kaunteya kshetram iti abhidiyate etadyo vettitam prahu kshetragnya iti tadvidaha. Idam shariram kaunteya. This body is the kshetra. Correct? The body is like a field. See, in a field, a farmer grows crops. So using the field of the body, we are growing crops of good and bad karma. Right? So this body is compared to the field. And the person who knows the field is a farmer, the kshetragnya. Jna is one who knows. So, the soul, the Atma, is aware of the body, of the field. But then Krishna, he says in the next verse, Kshetragnyam chapi mam vidhi sarva kshetreshu bharata kshetra kshetragnyayor jnanam yatta jnanam matam mama. In addition to the Atma, who is the knower of the field, there is one more kshetragnya, and that is the Paramatma.
I see.
So, Swami Prabhupada ji, in his explanations in Bhagavad Gita as it is, he gives a very beautiful understanding, carrying forward the example of the field and the farmer. He says that the farmer knows his own field, but the king, he knows the fields of all the farmers.
All the farmers, yes.
So, Kshetra is the body and Kshetragya, one is the Atma and another is the Paramatma, the Supreme Lord. Correct?
So there are 2 sets of supervisors, basically.
Yes.
So two souls then?
One is the soul and another is the Supreme Soul or God, who is situated within our own heart. So we're getting a thorough understanding of ourselves in the last 6 chapters. See, the world around and the world within, they're interconnected. Correct? The composition of the world without and the composition of the world within is almost the same. But the world within, we occupy it. So we are more aware of it. So here Krishna, he continues giving a more detailed understanding of the field of the kshetra from the next verse onwards. Please hear my brief description of this field of activity and how it is constituted, what its changes are, whence it is produced, who the knower of the field of activities is, and what its influences are. So he is going to give a thorough understanding of
the field,
the body, correct? And then in the next verse he says, that knowledge of the field of activities and of the knower of the activities is described by various sages in various Vedic writings. It is especially presented in Vedanta Sutra with all the reasoning as to cause and effect. Brahma Sutra Padescheva Hetu Madhyar Vinishchite. This is very interesting. See, Krishna, he is God. And he has made it very clear in the middle 6 chapters, and he has proven,
So, yeah, he's proven it. Yes.
proven it. He is God. But despite that, when Arjuna asks him a question in the beginning of the 13th chapter, he's quoting.
That's the other interesting piece. I mean, he is God. I should listen to what he is communicating, but he's saying, no, others have also said it.
Yes.
Hence believe me.
Yes. So he's telling Rishibir Bahuda Gitam. He's quoting the rishis, the sages, and also Brahma Sutras, scriptures. So this is very important to understand. He is actually setting the standard for everybody. If he as God is quoting scriptures, the Vedas, and if he is quoting previous authorities, how much more we should be particular about quoting authorities and scriptures when we present something. See, nowadays it is becoming more and more common, People, they say that this is my opinion. But, even Krishna, he doesn't say it is my opinion. He says, my understanding is based on what I've heard from authorities and from the scriptures.
Past scriptures and sages.
So this is very, very relevant. So even in modern science, if you think about it, suppose if I write a book on atomic theory, and I say, this is my opinion on the atom, people will throw that book in the garbage bin, 100%. Why? Because, okay, I might be having my own things, but then what I say should be based on the foundation of what previous authorities have said about it.
Correct.
I'm allowed to build on what others have said about it. But if I say I got something fresh to say, it's of no relevance whatsoever. So similarly, even in the Vedic field also, as much as it is true in modern science, so also it is applicable even in the Vedic science. So even God himself, when he is giving answer to Arjuna, of course, it will have his own flavor. The answer will have his own flavor. That uniqueness will be there in the answer. But at the same time, whatever he is saying
is authenticated.
Is authenticated and based on previous authorities and the scriptures. So it's very, very important how Vedic understanding is transmitted. So having said that, then he goes into great details. The 5 great elements. What are the 5 great elements?
Earth, water, air.
Fire, air and ether.
Yeah.
So these are the 5 great elements. The 5 great elements, ahankar, intelligence, the unmanifested, the 10 senses and the mind, the 5 sense objects, desire, hatred, happiness, distress, the aggregate, the life symptoms and the convictions. All these are considered in summary to be the field of activities and its interactions.
I see.
See, some of these things which are stated in this particular verse pertain to the gross field. And some of the things that are stated here are pertaining to the subtle field
also,
which is the mind, etc. So desire, hate, they originate from the mind. So Krishna is telling that all these things are transformations of the Kshetra. Kshetra, when it transforms, we see all these things happening. Senses are originated, the mind is originated, desires, hatred, all these things. Getting my point? And then, in the next set of verses, text number 8 to 12 of the 13th chapter, he is going to describe the path to Jnana.
I see.
So far, what are the questions that he has answered? So basically, Arjuna asked 6 questions.
Correct.
What is Kshetra? What is Kshetragnya? What is Jnana? What is Jnaya? What is Prakriti? What is Purusha? Krishna has explained what is Kshetra, what is Kshetragnya. Now he is going to explain Jnana, knowledge. See, I'll read the verse first. These are very nice and important verses. Amanitvam adambitvam ahimsa kshantirarjam acharyopasam shaucham sthiryam atma vinigraha indriyarteshu vairagyam anahankaram evacha janma mrityu jara vyadhi dukkha doshanudarshanam asaktir anabhishvangaha putradara grahadishu nityam cha samachittatvam ishtanishtopatishu maya chananya yogena bhaktiravya vicharini vivikta deja devitvam aratir jana samsadi adhyatma jnana nityatvam tattva jnanartha darshanam eta jnanam iti proktam ajnanam yato anyatha, he says.
So all the adjectives which can describe a person, really.
See, yeah, that's the interesting part here.
Yeah.
Humility,
right?
Pridelessness, non-violence, tolerance, simplicity, approaching a bona fide spiritual master, cleanliness, steadiness, self-control, renunciation of the objects of sense gratification, absence of false ego. It's a long list. And then at the end of it, he says, all these I declare to be knowledge. And besides this, whatever there may be is ignorance.
Oh.
See, knowledge, people feel, oftentimes, knowledge is understood as something that you read and acquire.
Correct.
But Krishna is explaining the path to knowledge. Because I think I have explained this previously also, how much you are able to understand. See, this knowledge is knowledge that awakens. See, in this world, there are entrance examinations in the modern world. Suppose you have to get into engineering. Suppose you have to get into medical school. You got into engineering, right?
Just about, yeah.
And then you had to give an entrance test for the examination. So, and then also there was this, then you got into IIM Ahmedabad, top school. So, even for that there was an entrance examination, isn't it? So, what is being tested in that particular entrance examination? What do they test? See, basically, if you correct me if I'm wrong, basically they see if you are able, whether you will be able to comprehend the level of knowledge that is going to be taught there.
Yeah.
Whether your IQ level is good enough to be able to absorb all that knowledge which will be given to you in that particular school.
Correct.
If yes, then you clear the entrance examination and then you're eligible to study there. So, in the modern world, there is a criteria that for a particular knowledge, your IQ should be on a particular level to be able to grasp it. But in the Vedic field, now obviously, when we are giving an entrance examination, the knowledge of English, it could be a separate paper, but that is not the main thing that is being tested. It's the IQ that is being tested, even though the medium of examination might be English. So similarly, when it comes to Vedic understanding, knowledge of Sanskrit is least important.
I see. It is hygiene, probably. A basic minimum which is required in any case.
Yeah.
Like English. Yeah.
Yeah, English. But it's not the knowledge in English that will help you understand topics of engineering or topics of medicine. It's your IQ which will help you understand those topics. Language is just a medium. So similarly, even when it comes to the Vedic scriptures, language, which is Sanskrit, is just a medium. But your eligibility to understand the subject matter that is given in the Vedic scriptures is not just dependent upon your IQ also here. A person could be very intelligent, but still may not be able to understand anything of what is given in the scriptures. What is really of relevance here is your level of consciousness. How elevated is your level of consciousness, and depending upon your elevation of consciousness, accordingly you are able to grasp the knowledge given in the scriptures. So, Vedic knowledge is state specific. Depending upon your state of consciousness, accordingly you are able to absorb, grasp it. Aapko chamkega. You know this word, chamakna. Chamak gaya, they used to say, right? So, you will be able to understand this knowledge to the extent your consciousness is purified. So, that is why the path of jnana is a path of purification simultaneously. How you can purify your consciousness, how you can elevate your consciousness, Krishna goes into great details in these 4 verses.
So, all of these characteristics that he's talking of, starting from humility and all of that, are hurdles which you have to cross before you start getting the knowledge? Or this is just general criteria for a knowledgeable person?
That's a good question. See, in order to gain knowledge, we have to endeavor to cultivate these qualities. Because
I see.
when we try to cultivate these qualities, then our consciousness will get,
Then your absorption will be higher.
yeah, our consciousness will become purified through cultivation of these qualities, and accordingly, we will be able to absorb knowledge. Simultaneously, as our consciousness gets purified, we will develop these qualities more naturally. Automatically.
Yeah.
See, it works both ways.
Correct.
It works both ways. If you are sincerely trying to inculcate these qualities, our consciousness will get purified, and the more our consciousness becomes purified,
Yeah.
the more natural it will be for us to
Correct.
exhibit these qualities.
Correct.
See, in essence, these are the qualities of the soul, the Atma.
I see.
Right now, the Atma is being covered by
The body.
the body, the gross body and the subtle body. And because of the covering of the gross and subtle body, the original nature of the Atma is hidden. Even though the soul naturally has these qualities, it is not able to exhibit these qualities fully. Why? Because of the material covering.
Correct.
So we are trying to kind of remove these material coverings so the original quality of the soul can shine forth.
Correct.
See, very important to understand this. In the modern day world also, these qualities are highly regarded, right? Being humble, being non-violent, being tolerant, even simplicity also.
Yeah.
All these qualities are highly regarded. See, there in the modern day world, there are people who say that I am spiritual but not religious. Correct? And they say that ultimately, what is the goal? You have to be a good person. Okay? So that's their understanding of spirituality. Even going by that understanding of spirituality, that the goal of spirituality is to be a good person. The goal of spirituality is to be humble, to be tolerant, etc., etc. Even if you go by that definition, when we actually take the path of the Bhagavad Gita, what happens is, when you develop these qualities, those qualities will remain with you always. See,
Correct.
The modern understanding of spirituality is we are trying to cultivate these qualities. But a deeper understanding, the Vedic understanding of developing these qualities is to unearth these qualities.
Yeah.
You're getting, there's a difference here.
To remove the fog which is around these qualities.
Yeah.
Qualities are already there actually.
Already there. This is the Vedic understanding.
Yeah.
But the modern understanding is you artificially try to...
Yeah. So subtly, the definition of knowledge here is very interesting. We probably look at knowledge, how can I get those qualities? What you are saying is, the idea of knowledge really is, how do I remove the fog so that these qualities are unearthed?
Yes. This is
Which is a very interesting.
Yes. So that is why when we develop these qualities the Vedic way, through the method that is given in the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna is going to go into great details of how to actually develop these qualities from the very core of our heart, which means so that they originate from the soul proper. And once we reach that level, it's a irreversible thing. No going back. It's never going to happen that under circumstantially or under force of situations, you fail to be humble, you fail to be tolerant. It's never going to happen. Because those qualities are originating from your very soul. And they're very sustainable from that perspective. Okay. Sure. So I hope I'm clear here.
Yeah. Just a quick question. At the end of the day, if the soul has all these characteristics, the material world fogs these qualities, why does God create the fog in the first place?
Okay. Because we wanted the fog. See, a good analogy to be used is the analogy of parents and children. Now, parents have the best intentions for the child, and they are always thinking in terms of what's best for the child. But children, as they grow up, then initially they are very obedient to the parents, and then during adolescence, there is a period of rebellion. Even I went through, I'm sure you also went through that. And at that time, they got their own ideas of what will make them happy.
I see.
And then at that time, if the parents try to micromanage the child, saying that you just follow whatever I say because I know what is good for you.
Correct.
Then that kind of strains the relationship between the parents and the children. But if the parents act in a more balanced way, what they do is, okay, fine, you have got your own ideas about, I'm saying what is right for you, but you have got your own ideas. Alright, you can try it out. So child is given the leeway to try out whatever way he or she wants to enjoy. And then when they try their own way of becoming happy, and then they find that it's not really making them happy, eventually they'll turn back to the parent.
Tell me what to do now.
Yeah. And at the same time, they will have a very positive frame of mind. They'll turn back to the parents.
Because they've
experienced
the
it.
Negative side.
Through mature experience, they have come to the same conclusion. So similarly, when the living entity gets the idea that perhaps I can be more happy enjoying matter. So Krishna, he makes it very clear through the scriptures that the soul can be happy only in a spiritual atmosphere. And the soul can be happy only through service. We have discussed this several times before. The soul can be happy through selfless service of God and selfless service of all other living entities.
Correct.
But when certain souls develop this understanding that maybe enjoyment lies in selfishness, maybe enjoyment lies in enjoying matter, then God provides a facility through which you can enjoy matter, which is the material world. A facility is provided wherein you have a facility to forget God, you have got a facility to forget your spiritual nature, and you are absorbed in materialism. And as you go through this life, one life, two life, millions of lives, and eventually you come to the realization that happiness doesn't lie in matter. Happiness actually lies in spirit. True happiness lies in service. Then eventually you turn back again towards spirit, you turn again towards the Supreme Spirit, and when you return to the spiritual world once again, then what happens is you have grown through the process. So this facility is provided of the material world, so the living entities can come to this mature conclusion themselves.
Got it.
Isn't it? So it's a very nice question that you asked. So Krishna, a lot of these qualities we have discussed in the past also. Humility, non-violence, tolerance. Simplicity is one thing that I would like to touch upon actually. See, Arjavam or simplicity, it's one of the key qualities which is absolutely necessary for us to actually make advancement on the spiritual path. Simplicity means childlike simplicity. So even Jesus Christ said that if you want to enter into the kingdom of God, you have to become childlike. Now, if you observe a child, children are actually simple. If you find a child, maybe you're traveling in an airport and you see a child sitting on another chair there with parents. Parents are talking with each other, the child is looking here and there, and you look at the child and you smile at the child. And the child will smile back. And then maybe you take a chocolate and show it to the child. Child will come and take the chocolate from your hand and go away. You do the same thing with adults. They'll be
suspicious.
They'll be suspicious. If you smile, they won't smile back. What's wrong with him? They feel that you have got something wrong here. See, childlike simplicity means what? See, we have got our thoughts, words, and actions. Childlike simplicity means thoughts, words, and actions are aligned in a single line. That is simplicity. This is simplicity. What you think, that is what you speak, and what you speak, that is what you do. They are all aligned.
Application.
They're all in a straight line. That is simplicity. And complexity or crookedness.
Underlying purpose.
Yes. Crookedness means what? You think one thing, you speak something else. You speak one thing and you act in some other way. As we grow up, we lose that simplicity. You getting my point? Now, childlike simplicity is required to progress on the spiritual path. Why? Because when we see, the world is a reflection of our own state of consciousness. Children, they have this simplicity, they have this simple trust. Why? Because they are simple. See, when their way of
consciousness is simple.
Their way of working is what they think, that's what they speak, and what they speak, that's what they do. And when they are like that, they think that the entire world is like that.
Correct.
And because they think the entire world is like that, they are able to trust people more easily. And because they are able to trust easily, children are very good learners. They are immediately able to grasp things and they can progress on the path of knowledge very fast. Things that we have learnt during our childhood, we still carry it within our subconscious, isn't it? Because children are very fast learners, and an important reason why they are fast learners is because of this quality of simplicity that they have. Similarly, for us to actually learn spiritual concepts, for us to be receptive to spiritual concepts, in order to grow on the path of jnana, which is what these verses are all about, we also need to have this simplicity. Means what? We should be able to trust knowledge when it comes to us. Just like children, all doors are open. They've got simple trust when knowledge comes towards them and they can completely absorb it. For us to be able to receptive to knowledge, we also need to be simple. And as I said, the world is a reflection of our own state of consciousness. We can't put this simple trust in the scriptures, in the gurus, unless we cultivate simplicity by
ourselves.
By, thinking, trying to...
our own actions, basically.
Trying to realign ourselves in the same way. That what we think, that's what we speak. And what we speak, that is what we do. We should dovetail our life in such a way that we become simple ourselves. See, one simplicity is external simplicity. That is also very important. We are not looking for, we are less concerned about gaudy lifestyle. We are satisfied with simple life. And I am very impressed with your simple living, actually, I should say. Even though you are very well accomplished, but still you have that simplicity, I see.
No, I'm trying to climb that ladder.
See, one simplicity is simplicity of lifestyle. Another simplicity is simplicity of the mind. It is the simplicity of the mind that we are talking about.
That we are talking about, yeah.
Simplicity of mind means we consciously cultivate this thing. That we try to speak what we think and we act according to what we speak.
Correct.
And when we cultivate this simplicity within our own life, then we are able to place trust more easily, and placing trust more easily, it will be easier for us to grasp knowledge also.
Easily. Got
it. So this simplicity is very important and we need to try to cultivate this simplicity. And then there are so many other beautiful qualities which Krishna is describing in these sets of verses. Cleanliness are two things: external cleanliness, internal cleanliness. External cleanliness is taking a bath on a regular basis. Internal cleanliness is following spiritual activities so that our consciousness gets purified. And then steadiness, self-control. Maybe we can continue in a future session.
Sure. Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
There are many more wonderful things, and then we'll continue with our discussion on the 13th chapter.
Fair enough. Thank you.
Thank
you. See.
As we've discussed earlier, the first 6 chapters, Karma Yoga, provide an understanding of how a person involved in the world's activities can progress on the path of spirituality. The second 6 chapters, Bhakti Yoga, provide knowledge about the greatness of Krishna and the soul's connection with God. the last 6 chapters, Gyan Yoga, explain what prevents a person from treading the spiritual path and reaching the goal. Since the spirit soul is bound and engaged within the body, mind, intellect, ego, gross body, and subtle body, one must understand the composition of this prison to progress toward liberation. Arjuna asks 6 questions in this chapter 13. Krishna starts by explaining the first 2, Kshetra and Kshetragnya. Kshetra, the field, includes the 5 great elements: ahankar, false ego; intelligence, the unmanifested; the 10 senses and the mind; the 5 sense objects: desire, hatred, happiness, distress; the aggregate, the life symptoms, and the convictions. These elements pertain to the gross field and to the subtle field. Kshetragnya refers to the person who knows the field. The soul, Atma, is aware of the body field. Additionally, the Paramatma, Supreme Soul, is also aware of all the bodies in the universe. Krishna cites the Vedic writings, including the Brahma Sutra and the sages, rishis. Krishna is setting a standard for everyone. Any knowledge presented must be based on what previous authorities have established. Krishna declares that a long list of qualities are considered jnana, knowledge, while anything besides them is ignorance. This list includes humility, non-violence, tolerance, simplicity, cleanliness, etc. The path to jnana is simultaneously a path of purification. Vedic knowledge is state-specific, meaning a person's ability to grasp it is dependent on the elevation of their consciousness. These are the original qualities of the soul, Atma. They need unearthing, not cultivation, by removing the material coverings. Childlike simplicity is necessary for spiritual advancement. Simplicity of the mind, our thoughts, words, and actions need to be aligned in a single line. Similarly, cleanliness has 2 aspects: external cleanliness and internal cleanliness. Following spiritual activities to purify one's consciousness. We also understand why God creates the fog, material world. By going through the material world, a person eventually realizes that happiness lies in the spirit and in service, not in matter. They then maturely turn back toward the Supreme Spirit and eventually return to the spiritual world.